All right, welcome back. This is going to continue on to other traits that the Naphtali tribe had, and whereas what traits the descendants could actually have themselves nowadays.
And the answers to these questions are not to be taken as absolute indications, but as ones that heighten the probability in a certain direction, that together with other factors may well be worth pursuing. And there is truth in what we are saying. It depends upon to what degree it is applied and applicable in your specific case. So, what were the characteristics of Naphtali that we are speaking about? Are you a fast runner? In your youth, were you a fast runner? Do you have alacrity, quick reactions, speed? You're a good wrestler. Do you judo, martial arts, fighting, dancing? Are you good at it? Do you like it? Do you have the lightness of foot, the coordination and the instinctive ins and outs that are needed to be good at this specific field of activity? Do you have musical ability? Do you like gymnastics, dancing? Are you artistic? Do you have musical ability? We also have sexual personality points if you are a male. You're open to your feminine side, yet you retain your masculinity. I'm not saying something perverted. I'm saying that the different things which are considered less masculine or more feminine, but it's not exactly so. It's not true. But there is something in it. If you are a female, if you are a woman, do you have a tomboy side? Are you a bit of a man? Or do you have masculine characteristics? We all have a bit of something or the other in us. It all depends upon when we're talking about the relative degrees, relative associations, and we'll see. If you're in your marital union, if you're married, are you intertwined and involved with your partner, or do you both keep yourself somewhat compartmentalized, in your own separate boxes? Because sometimes that is the best way to be. It's the most healthy, and we don't necessarily want to be in and out or in the throat of each other all day long. What about the colours? Do you like pink, mauve, light purple? Do these colours appeal to you? And your character? Do you prefer compromise to confrontation? Do you flatter potential adversaries when you come up against them, or your overseers? People place over to you. Do you butter up to them rather than face them down when there's a problem? Do you take ideas, initiatives of other people and develop them and push them rather than bring up new things of your own? What about the blowing of the shofar, like in the Jewish synagogue? Does it appeal to you if you've heard it? Are you aesthetic? You have an aesthetic ability. Are you appreciative of beauty? Everyone is, but is this more marked with you than it is with your friends and people around you? What about joining the Navy? Would you like to join the Navy? If God forbid there was a war and you all had to join one of the services, would you prefer the Navy to the Air Force or the Army? What about your characteristics? Do you usually avoid the limelight? Are you eloquent in your speech, penetrating in thought? Are you ingrate and an ingrate? Are you somewhat ungrateful? We all also, well, this is a common trait, and all of us to some degree or other have been afflicted with it before waking up to ourselves, if we ever do wake up to ourselves. But some of us have a more problem with this than others. You tend to be ungrateful or not notice the goodness that has been done unto you, or the good. You take good fortune for granted. When someone does you a favor, do you remember to thank them? Are you thankful to them? Someone socially, are you a good team worker rather than a leader? Do you work with others rather than tell them what to do or show them what to do? Follow along, but you do it well. You don't make waves, and you help your friends, co-workers are pleased with you. Sometimes you place last in the line, but you don't really mind. You're going to get there anyway. What about being progressive? Are you progressive in your outlook? Are you basically a happy person? together with being happy and content and progressive and so on, do you also have a certain negativity? Or is there, in your family, do you sympathise with third world countries? Are you a bit of a left-winger, pinky? Do you have progressive liberal ideas? Do you tend to the left, to socialist type ideologies or sympathies in your political outlook? If you don't, do you at least understand or sympathise with people who do? On the whole, do you are you a peacemaker rather than someone who gets into fights or scrabbles? Do you try and make friends with people when other people quarrel and so on? You try and patch it up. You don't hurt others, and you try and prevent others from hurting each other. What about your hobbies or your likes and dislikes? Fishing, do you like fishing? Boating? Do you think the Sea of Galilee would appeal to you? Would you like to go to the Sea of Galilee in Israel? Would you have family relations from Scandinavia, especially from Norway, Iceland? What about East Island, the Dublin area? Northeast of England, northern Scotland? All of these areas had people from Naphtali in them. Even Central Russia, Hungary, they too, the East, India. If you're an African American, maybe do you too think you're from Lost Tribe? Does the message of Britain, Hebrew nation, so we're speaking, somehow appeal to you, even though you don't really know how to place yourself in its context, we don't really know where you would fit in if you were to go more deeply into this subject?
What happened to the lost tribes of Israel? When people refer to the lost tribes of Israel, they usually have in mind the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom that fell to Assyria about 722 BC. These tribes are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, and Joseph, whose tribe was divided into the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. Most of the people of the northern kingdom were deported to ancient Assyria. Many of the Jews who remained in the land intermarried with people from Cutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, who had been sent by the Assyrian king to inhabit Samaria. Thus, the story goes, the 10 northern tribes of Israel were lost to history and either wiped out or assimilated into other people groups. This narrative, however, is based on inference and assumption rather than on direct biblical teaching. There are many mysteries, legends, and traditions as to what happened to the 10 lost tribes of Israel. One legend says that the 10 tribes migrated to Europe. The Danube River, they say, got its name from the tribe of Dan. Another legend says that the tribes migrated all the way to England and that all Anglo-Saxons are today actually Jews. This is a teaching of the heretical British Israelism. A surprising number of groups around the world claim to have descended from the lost tribes. There are people in India, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and North America who all claim such ancestry. Other theories equate the Japanese or the American Indians with the 10 lost tribes of Israel. The truth is that the lost tribes of Israel were never really lost. Many of the Jews who remained in the land after the Assyrian conquest were united with Judah in the south. Assyria was later conquered by Babylon, who went on to invade the southern kingdom of Israel, deporting the 2 remaining tribes, Judah and Benjamin. Remnants of the northern tribes would have thus been part of the Babylonian deportations. 70 years later, when King Cyrus allowed the Israelites to return to Israel, many from all 12 tribes returned to Israel to rebuild their homeland. The idea that 10 tribes of Israel were lost is false. God knows where all 12 tribes are, and, as the Bible itself proves, they are all accounted for. In the end times, God will call out witnesses from each of the 12 tribes. So, obviously, God has been keeping track of who belongs to what tribe. In the Gospels, the prophetess Anna was from the tribe of Asher, one of the 10 supposedly lost tribes. Anna wasn't lost at all. Both Zechariah and Elizabeth, and therefore John the Baptist, are also from the tribe of Levi. Jesus promises the disciples that they will sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Paul, who knows he is from the tribe of Benjamin, speaks of the promise our 12 tribes are hoping to see fulfilled as they earnestly serve God day and night. Note the present tense. James addresses his epistle to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations. In short, there is ample evidence in Scripture that all 12 tribes of Israel are still in existence and will be in the Messianic kingdom. None of them are lost. Got questions? The Bible has answers, and we'll help you find them.